Hi, I'm Stan. You may know me as the player who plays the Blade in Deeprunners. So I'm here to essentially just record a summary of what happened during session 27 and 28 of Deeprunners, because the VODs weren't saved, so we lost them, which is unfortunate. So I'm just going to save you some time by just summarizing them, basically. So I'm just going to say exactly what happened. Session 27... let me go pull up whatever it was called. It was titled Sheer Heart Attack. Killer Queen. Funny. Good job, Jack. And the objective was to obtain the final piece to complete Ava, Kata's robot that she's been trying to make ever since the start of her journey as a person, I guess. But what we did was we went to this sort of compound, and we were just searching for like the material, like the final thing that was a power source to power Ava. And we eventually wandered into this giant room that had this mechanical thing. And we ended up fighting the thing. It was basically like a big core in the middle of the room. It's a massive room. And it had a ton of stuff, like a few phases, and it essentially just debuffed a whole bunch until we broke the shield that it had by breaking some other stuff around the room and fighting some enemies that had spawned. And it was really quite a slog, but that's fine, because we're done with it. After we defeated it, we kind of just went up to it and ripped out its, like, core in the center, like the power source of it. And then we went back to base and just kind of just put that inside of Ava, I think with Star's help. And then, once Ava was complete, Kata gave it, like, a directive for it to follow for its entire journey, and I don't think we got to hear that in person. Kata whispered it to it. But it was to protect Star, I believe. That's the directive that she gave to Ava. And then it was also revealed that Ava was Kata's resonance. So, good job, you got Bell. Woohoo! That was 27, Sheer Heart Attack. And now, session 28 was called White Snake, and the objective is to raid Spade's lab. Now, this was obviously a lead-up to the session where we were gonna fight Spade. But honestly, not too much happened. We ended up just infiltrating essentially like a high-rise office building. I remember we had to jump in through a window on the side. I think we entered through a helicopter, and then we jumped, yeah. And then we looked around for quite a bit, but there wasn't really much in the office. We found some like journals as usual, and then we realized we were being stalked by some emotionless-looking people, and they just walked. And then we got to another room and we found out these people had basically our abilities, because Spade used his spike, whatever the hell it is, ability to take out their selves, like their emotions, their selves, their abilities, and then he made copies of the party's abilities, and so each of the party members had a counterpart of these emotionless enemies that we had to fight, and basically the enemies just had our abilities exactly. Now, this fight was kind of funny because Jack thought that it would finally be a difficult fight for us, but unfortunately we know our own weaknesses, and we kind of slept the floor. Nice. Good job, us. After that, because of the enemies having spikes for our abilities, the Blade went up to the samurai clone, whatever, I'm just going to call them clones, and took out the spikes that were in that clone. And so he just got access again to his abilities and all of the things that have been taken by Spade. So, that's nice. Good job, the Blade. Anyway, after that, we were kind of like, alright, well, we beat them up. And we went to the rooftop where I think Claudius was there with a helicopter and was like, yeah, let's get out of here, see if Spade's somewhere else. So we got into the helicopter, started to fly off, and then Spade came up out of the top of the elevator. No, not elevator. There was never an elevator. Staircase. And was like, hey, we're not done here. And then tore the helicopter to the ground because it's metal and he controls metal. And then session ended there. I think there was a small recap in session 29. Like, just at the start, we went over again the helicopter getting torn down because it had been 2 months in between session 28 and 29. But yeah, and then we fight Spade or something in the next session. So go enjoy that, have fun. Thanks for listening and enjoying my Gungeon content. I will be back when I need to.